Hey guys, GameZach here, and welcome to another one of my Civilization 6 videos. Now, Macedon has been introduced as a second civ coming up for a new DLC, and this is the fourth and final DLC for the Digital Deluxe Edition holders. Now in this video, I'm gonna go over the stats and strategy of Macedon, but I'm also going to talk about the situation about the DLC and the Digital Deluxe Edition, because although in some countries it looks like it's gonna be okay, but in some other countries it's still looking really weird. And I'm gonna clarify and elaborate on things that I talked about in my last video about Persia. Anyway, let's not waste any time and get into it. So starting with the details of the Macedonian Empire. It's led by Alexander, and the leader bonus is to the world's end, which means Macedon incurs less war weariness, and Alexander also brings in the Hetairoi unique unit, which is a heavy cavalry replacement for the horsemen, and it comes with a free promotion. The civilization bonus is Hellenistic fusion, where Macedon receives bonuses when conquering a city based on the districts of that conquered city. The unique unit associated with Macedon is the Hypaspist, which replaces the swordsman and gets extra combat strength when besieging districts and extra support bonuses. And the unique infrastructure is the Basilikoi building, which yields science when a non-civilian unit is trained in that city and additional bonuses when training certain military units. So, in terms of strategy, Macedon is looking like another early game aggressive civilization. The double early unique units is quite interesting. There's a number of civilizations which do have double unique units because one being the leader bonus. But the Hetairoi is particularly interesting because it's replacing the standard horseman with a heavy cavalry unit. So very early on in the game, you can have these very strong horsemen basically. Now, of course, Macedon and Alexander focusing on military is definitely a thing, but the whole point of Macedon and Alexander is to focus on military and go on conquest without falling behind. Particularly on science with the unique building. You can continue to train military units and boost up your science, and you basically steal progress as you conquer. So you want to conquer more developed empires with more districts. So if you see maybe a cultural or scientific neighbor which has a lot of districts in their cities and they've just sort of really developed up their cities. So for example, Congo, which would have a very high population in their cities allowing many districts, Congo would be a perfect target for Alexander and Macedon to go and conquer and just steal all that progress. I don't think anyone's gonna have any complaints about having less war weariness either, allowing you to stay at war for longer periods of time. Now, on to the whole DLC and Digital Deluxe situation, which I'm going to clarify and elaborate more on. And in my last video on Persia, I brought up the situation regarding the whole Digital Deluxe Edition and whether or not it was actually saving money compared to buying the DLC a la carte, as promised on the Steam page. There was a blog post that clarified that the next DLC will include Persia, Macedon, 2 new wonders, and 1 new scenario, which is called the Conquest of Alexander, and that it will be free for Digital Deluxe owners. So this is the 4th and final DLC that Digital Deluxe owners will be getting. In case some of you didn't know, the Digital Deluxe version is not a season pass. It specifically states that it will include 4 post-launch DLC. And to clarify, any DLC after this one, Digital Deluxe owners will need to pay for, unless they're gonna do something different from what they said they were gonna do. Additionally, we are also getting the Spring 2017 update, which brings more balance changes, multiplayer changes, and bug fixes for everyone who owns the game for free. So that spring update is free for everyone. The situation is looking weird though. If you live in the US, prices might add up, kind of. The price difference between Standard and Digital Deluxe is $20 and each DLC has been $5 so far. Looking at this double Civ DLC, we can expect it to cost twice as much at $10, making the total cost of the 4 DLC included in the Digital Deluxe package to be $25, saving you $5. Yes, the Digital Deluxe Edition also comes with the soundtrack, but we can't count that since the Steam page specifically says that you'll be saving money on the DLC. Now, $5 isn't a lot, but it's still a savings. Maybe not what you were expecting or hoping for, but I'd leave that up to you whether or not you think that's a good deal. However, an issue arises when you look at the prices of things in other countries. In Malaysia, where I live, the price difference is 60 ringgit, and each DLC costs 12. The DLC so far totals 36, and if this next DLC is expected to cost double, it would cost 24, totaling the DLC cost to 60, just about breaking even compared to buying the DLC a la carte rather than through Digital Deluxe. Which means this next DLC has to cost more than double for it to actually make the Digital Deluxe version keep the promise of saving money. Otherwise, it would be blatant false advertising, and I don't think 2K is going to fall into that trap. This is even worse in some other countries, as I've been told that in Brazil, Digital Deluxe costs 50 more than the standard, and each DLC only costs about 10. So this next DLC has to cost 3 times more compared to the other DLC just to break even, and more than 3 times before it fulfills the promise of saving money. So the big question is, what are they going to do about this? The last 2 DLC have been 1 civ and 1 scenario each. This new DLC is 2 civilizations, but only 1 scenario plus some wonders, as far as we've been told. Considering the Viking DLC, which is just 1 scenario, a few wonders, and 6 city-states, DLC can be rather low value at this price, but I don't see them justifying this next DLC to arbitrarily cost more than double or triple the other DLC unless there is more content included. And no, we can't count the Spring 2017 update to count towards the cost of this DLC or the soundtrack. That's not what the Steam page says. Basically, this next DLC has to cost more than double compared to the other DLC, and so far it doesn't look like there's enough content included to justify that at all. And overall, it's looking like a very weird situation. But alright, that's it for now. What do you think? Do you think they'll just inflate the price to keep their promise, which would be horribly unethical? Or do you think even more content is going to be included in this DLC, which they haven't revealed yet, that would justify a higher cost? Either way, I just thought I should bring this all to your attention. Also, what do you think of Macedon and Alexander? Are you excited about this new civilization? What do you think of the mechanics? Let me know. And if you'd like to see more Civilization 6 videos, click the links on the screen right now. I got my video on Persia and another on why multiplayer sucks for me. And subscribe for more Civ 6 videos, gameplay, or like this one. That's it for now. Hope you found it interesting and useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.